My name is Ann Naylor. I'm one of the program staff at CCS, and I am honored to present the graduating class of 2015, Jim Hatt and Mark Laird. But first, I want to talk briefly about several people who are not here. Lulu Cooper, Bella Goodfellow, Catherine Nablo, Josephine Tingley, Annie Ray, and Emily Danby. These are women from the first graduating classes of the Anglican, Presbyterian, and Methodist training schools, which eventually became the Center for Christian Studies. These women graduated in 1895, 1897, and 1898. They were called and trained to take care of the poor and the most vulnerable, to be exceptional teachers, and to lead Sunday services when necessary. They developed a strong sense of community and nurtured a spirit of community in those with whom they worked. Their education prepared them to be aware of and responsive to the needs of the church and the world, to teach, to serve, to care, to lead, to go to the margins, to bring healing and hope, to do what needed to be done, frequently without much recognition. Sound familiar? Recall the work of the biblical midwives, the prophets, the disciples who gathered around Jesus and carried on the work of teaching, healing, and serving with him and after his death. The deacons and deaconesses of the early church. Lulu, Bella, Catherine, Joseph, Annie, Emily, Jim, Mark, and their biblical companions are all strongly rooted in the same movement, a movement that seeks to participate in God's transformative work, diaconia. Mark and Jim know well, that feel it in your bones well, that engraved in your heart, that greets you every morning kind of knowing that this is their call. They hear it softly whispered in the voice of someone struggling to hold on to a thread of life and needing reassuring company in that holding on. They hear it in the cries of despair from people whose lives have become increasingly distant from the centers of power, people needing allies and advocates. They hear it in the cries for justice and for peace, and they respond. A former mad scientist and a former school teacher and principal, they each brought to CCS a wealth of knowledge about education, service, pastoral care, and social transformation, which they contributed, along with the new knowledge and skills gained through CCS, to the learning of all with whom they gathered in learning circles, all with whom they connected in their field placements in congregations, community ministries, and in a hospice, all whom they encountered through their Global Perspectives courses in Venezuela and in Polk County, Florida. To each of these contexts, they also brought open minds and hearts, eagerness to learn and to move toward right relationship. To respond to this call takes courage and perseverance. It also asks much of the people with whom they share life, family and friends. It is not just about having less time available, or mentioning words like episodic and epiphanic over breakfast. Being prayerful at the crossroads, being open to the God whose name is I will be there, means taking risks, being open to new directions. In the process of becoming most fully who they are and can be, they are transformed. The Center for Christian Studies and the churches in which it is rooted are blessed to have witnessed transformation in Mark and in Jim. We celebrate their vision, their perseverance, their love of life, and their commitment to diaconia. Thanks be to God.